Siblings?
Everyone in Haiti practically over the last couple of years, I can imagine, has been a victim of the gang violence in some way or another, having family members killed or kidnapped. I myself have found myself in that situation as well.
What do they teach you?
I think they teach me the importance of the work that we're doing, and that's one of the reasons why I've decided not to leave Haiti and to stay here. Because through them being with them on a daily basis, I see the importance of the work. I see that if we weren't on the ground doing this work, myself and my staff, many of these young people would maybe see joining the gang as the only viable option for them. There are so many examples of outstanding young beneficiaries of the program. One of them who comes to mind is Ronnie. He joined the program in 2013 when we launched the organization. And 12 years later, he's currently in his final year of university, studying business administration and accounting through our scholarship program. He's also one of our interns, helping us run the organization. So he's truly a remarkable young man, and he's a great example of the impact that our organization has had through our work over the past 12 years.
I understand you yourself have become an IDP, an internally displaced person, is that right?
Exactly. The gangs have gotten pretty close to taking over the neighborhood where I've lived at for the past 5 years, Paco. And so as a result, I've had to leave that neighborhood to find a safe haven elsewhere, and a relatively safer neighborhood for now.
Well, I think many people will agree with me listening to you. Yours is a life being well lived.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And for me, the most important thing is to create opportunities for young people to lead to a better Haiti.
Service investigating the struggle to defend the cables and pipelines beneath the waves.
Seabed sabotage, or the threat of it, works because much of it can be denied.
The ship that dragged an anchor across a pipeline, oh no, it was just an accident. That knowing wink that says you can't prove it, but you know it was. The subsea war. Thursday at 1:30 and 8:30 GMT. Hello from well-employed sports follows next on the BBC World Service as we bring you commentary of the FA Cup quarter-final between Preston North End and Aston Villa. Plus Women's Six Nations Rugby and Miami Open Tennis. Stay with us live on the BBC. On air, online and on mobile, this is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station. And the Champions League quarter-finalists, Aston Villa, go at least one better in the FA Cup.
Friday, up to a standstill again. A standstill on the double. And with over 10 minutes to go, Villa now have a 2-0 lead.
Villa travel to Preston North End in our live commentary game with me, Johnny Floyd, the Championship side's first quarter-final since 1966.
Been obviously very long at Preston, and it was brilliant for me personally in my first season to be in the quarterfinals, and hopefully that will not be our end station.
And can Novak Djokovic win his 100th ATP title at the Miami Open?
I haven't dropped a set. I'm playing really good tennis, as good as I've played in a long time, so hopefully it can come here.
That's fulfilled in 5 minutes.
Hello, I'm David Hunt with the BBC News. Rebel groups in Myanmar say the ruling military junta continues to carry out airstrikes despite condemnation from the UN and calls for it to halt operations in the wake of Friday's earthquake, which has left at least 1,700 people dead. Here's Rebecca Henschke.
We've just received reports that there has been a helicopter attack in Magway region, which is also close to the epicenter of the quake. And my colleague in BBC Berlin says that military have also carried out airstrikes in the Kachin state, which is close to the Chinese border. So despite United Nations calls for the military to halt all operations, they are continuing to carry out strikes against resistance forces who are trying to remove them from power. Singapore's foreign minister has come out and made some strong statements calling for an immediate ceasefire to allow for the distribution of humanitarian aid and for long-term peace and reconstruction.
As aftershocks continue, people in Mandalay say it's too dangerous to stay indoors. The Deputy Governor of the Thai capital, Bangkok, says rescue teams are intensifying their efforts in the hope of reaching more survivors buried under the rubble of a skyscraper which collapsed during the quake. Nick Marsh is at the site.
Rescue workers still very much trying to move these huge concrete pillars, these metal girders, there's around 6-7 massive diggers, a couple of cranes. We've been here for around 48 hours. We haven't seen anyone come out, be that bodies or any survivors.
The Sudanese paramilitary commander has admitted his rapid support forces have been driven from the capital Khartoum. The army claimed to have taken the city on Wednesday. Julian Bedford reports.
This confirmation of defeat leaves the RSF all but penned back in its heartlands of southern and western Sudan, and the country divided in two. After nearly 2 years of civil war, there's little prospect of peace. On Saturday, the army leader, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, vowed to fight on until the last rebel had been eradicated from the last corner of Sudan. The cost has been extraordinary. Estimates of the number of dead range from 20,000 to 150,000.
Russia says its forces are making progress in a push westwards towards a region that, up to now, has been fully controlled by Ukraine. It says it's captured another settlement in the Donetsk region, about 7 kilometers from the regional border with Dnipropetrovsk. The fighting is taking place southwest of Pokrovsk, a key Russian objective. In its latest update, Ukraine's military said it had stopped more than 90 attacks in the Pokrovsk sector. It comes amid reports that Russia could be preparing to ramp up offensives in parts of the front lines to try to influence ceasefire talks. Live from London, this is the latest world news from the BBC.